Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live. Apologies for being a minute or two late. Let me just put the lights on. It's quite a dry morning, but not that bright at the moment. So, good morning. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining me live, then do say hi. Let me know that you're here. I know it takes a little while for Facebook to send out the announcements, excuse me, that I'm live. Hi Tracy. And if you're watching on replay or on YouTube, then if you have any queries or comments, just add them onto the comment section, and if it needs an answer or anything, I will get back to you. So this week is bargain week and I'm selecting some of my favourite sets that are retiring and are discounted. Many of the stamp sets are discounted to 50%. So if you've had your eye on them or if you're looking for a bargain, then do catch up with me this week. All of these items can be found on the online website. If you go to geminicrafts.co.uk and click the how to shop, you'll be able to hop onto there. And there is a little banner when you log on that says last chance list, and the last chance products are the ones that I am showing today and all of this week. Morning Lynn, and good evening Kerry. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So Monday we featured this card here using the Forever Blossoms stamp set with this lovely cherry blossom, and I cut that out with the dies, and I also used some of the Expressions and Ink Designer Series paper, which is retiring. So that was Monday's one that you can catch up on. Yesterday we did some animals. So I did the Waiter Goat with this one here using a slimline card, and stamped the 3 goats in a line. And that stamp set is at half price. And I also did the Hey Birthday Chick. And I used our Picture This frame to just create a frame, and then I popped in some of the different characters from Hey Birthday Chick. That's also at half price. And the Picture This die is actually not retiring, that is going through. And I will maybe next week show you a way to to create your own version of this with some of the new dies that we have coming out in the new annual catalogue. So yesterday was Animal Day. Today we're looking at some male themed cards, and I've selected this stamp set called Handsomely Suited, as you can see here. This is half price, so it was £20 and it's now £10, and it features these 4 ties. So you've got 2 ties and 2 bow ties, and some suitable male sentiments, but we've also got happy birthday to you, thank you, and you're the best, that I think you could use for other occasions. And this stamp set has a fantastic set of dies that go with it, and the dies are now £24 for all of these, and these are called the Suit and Tie dies. Hi Kay, hi Sarah. And I've got some samples of these to show you so that you can see what they do. I reckon, well, you can use these dies completely on their own without really needing the stamp set, and you can also obviously use the stamp set on its own, and you could fussy cut the ties, but if you put the two together you have a great set for mail cards, basically. Let me show you some samples. Let me move that out of the light. Now this has a particular place in my heart because I was invited to do a presentation on this when this first came out, which is why I have lots of samples. So let me show you some of those in no particular order. They're just as I grabbed them out of my samples box. So I've used the little collar die and the V to make this look like a jumper and a shirt. I hope you can see it. You may not be able to see the embossing. There's some embossing on there with the lace embossing folder. These little buttons come as part of the dies as well. Hi Joanne. So that is that is one, excuse me. And then we have this one here. So I put a sentiment inside here. I've used some felt actually for the tie, but you could cut some material as well if you wanted, or just some patterned paper. And this was done, apart from the happy birthday sentiment, this was done with the dies. So this V shape is cut out with this single die. It's attached itself to the magnetic thing, like so. So you just take a piece and cut that out, and then you cut the coordinating lapels. So it's a really easy set to use. Oh, hi Glenda. Thanks for joining us. Obviously it's evening time for you, same as it is for Kerry. So welcome aboard, thank you. And thanks for saying hi. And this one I've used the pocket, and the pocket has the stitching on it as well. So really easy card to recreate just with the dies. And this was what we did at Coffee and Card, was stamping the little bow ties and just some patterned paper behind. Hello Kay, thanks for saying hi. Because I was presenting to the worldwide demonstrator base, I was given the English, French and German stamp sets, which is why you see some German sentiments in there. Just using some of the plaid papers. And then this one was created, I used this die here, I'm trying to get it out of the light really, with the stitching, which you could use for other things anyway, and that created the buttonhole line. And I actually used my trimmer, or you could use a scoreboard, and actually scored down the lines to make it look like a dress shirt. I'm not sure that that gets picked up in the light, a bit too bright really. Morning Lisa, and hi Natalie. Sending my love to you, Natalie. Okay, and then we have this one here. Again, just some different layers and using different textured papers. So for those that have just joined, I'm just highlighting these dies and this fab stamp set, both of which are retiring. And the dies can create all of these cards here. And the stamp set is now £10. And the dies are now 24. So I'm just running through some samples. There's this one here, and I've used the collar to make the little handkerchief, and then I've used a textured embossing folder to give some texture to that shirt. Again, not that you can see it particularly. This one always reminds me of my dad, because my dad always had a matching handkerchief actually to his tie. So yeah, and I've just used some of the papers that we had available at that time, which went with these. Just another simple one with the ties, the bow ties, coloured those in. And then this one, I created a wedding dress, and this one goes with this one here. So the idea was that there was a bride and groom card. Hi, Carol. So the bow tie was made out of the same card, petal pink card. So we have this one here, and I added a little bit of lace and the buttons down the front, but it is the same set of dies. And then looking at the stamps, just stamping the ties in alternating colours. Cutting out the ties with our lovely rainbow glimmer paper. And the rainbow, excuse me, the rainbow glimmer paper is also retiring. I haven't checked whether that's still available. I have checked this morning that these are available. Okay. And then a little bit more fun. The die set includes these little tabs here and here for the braces, and also these pieces here, and I just cut those out of a bit of funky designer paper and used the buttons on there. And I do remember when I was demonstrating these, in America they call these suspenders, and that has quite a different connotation in the UK. I remember having some fun with that. Okay, and then another one using some just straight die cutting and then using embossing folder. You can see that one a little bit better. And then another one with the suit and tie. So obviously I did a lot of these, and this was for the presentation amongst other things. But I think it's a really really nice set. So I'm going to do something different with those today. I have it in my head. I'm hoping it's going to work. So going to use the stamp set. I'm going to use this bow tie, and we do have the coordinating dies for both of the ties. And what I want to do is have one that will spin round. There's a little bit of fun. So what I'm going to do is stamp 3. Well, no, I'm going to stamp 2 and have the one in the middle up on some dimensionals and a brad. See if I can make it spin. Thank you, Glenda. So I did have great fun with that. So this is just going to go onto a note card. Just because of the size of the ties, they would be a little bit lost on a large card, although it would be quite good fun to have these stamped all the way over and have one or two that was spinning. But as I took so long yesterday with our designs, I thought I would keep it a little bit more simple today. So let's give this a go. So I'm just going to stamp 1, 2 and then have one in the middle. So I'm pretty sure I can just sort of space those by eye. So I'm just using Night of Navy. Just trying to work out if there was a right or wrong way to those ties, but that looks fine. I could do them in different colours as well, like so. And then my spinning one is going to go in the middle, and I've got this one here. Hello Isabel, I hope you're feeling better. Poor thing. Poor Isabel was poorly yesterday, she couldn't make it to our team meeting. Okay, so I'm going to die cut that in a second. I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring of these, not a huge amount. I've got Barmy Blue. Hello Nikki. So I've got light and dark. Let's just use a little bit of dark. I might do these two in one colour and this one in a different colour. And you could use obviously lots of, you know, bright colours, reds, yellows, Doesn't have to be serious at all. But if you struggle for men's cards, I would definitely recommend considering either the dies, because I think you can do, well, as you can see from my cards, you can do a lot with the dies. I love these little buttons. And then you've got the nice sentiments as well. Nice bold sentiments. Let's move that out of the light. So let's just do these very quickly. So I'm just using the dark and then the light balmy blue. So just a note for Natalie, if she's still watching, just to let you know that Alex has your order. I didn't like to trouble you too soon and let you know, but she has it safe and sound. I'm just going to do this the same. So all week this week I'm featuring retiring items that are on offer, so bargain time. A lot of the stamp sets are half price, and they were available on the days that I have done the videos. I've just put that disclaimer in there in case you go to do it in 2 weeks time and it's no longer available. And once it hits the 2nd of May, then you won't be able to order them. Okay, so there's those two. Really feel like I want to do this a different colour now. I might do this in a red. Let's do Poppy Parade, just for a bit of fun. Just need to clean that. So we had a great team meeting last night, really good fun. Sorry you couldn't make it, Isabel, and Sam wasn't too good either, but it was good fun. We looked at some new products and we did some crafting. It's always great to spend time with people. Just wondering, I might need two. So I'm going to put another one on here. Let's do this one that way. So I'm going to colour these in and die cut them, and then I'm going to pop this up with something behind and then on a brad, so it will spin, a bit like we had the windmills, if you remember when I did the spinning windmill. So let's just use Dark Poppy Parade. Really must replace my piece of wallpaper. That's all this is underneath here. I need to replace it. It's getting a bit worn, shall we say. So just a little bit of Dark Poppy Parade there, and then just blending that out with the light. You can still just about see the dots. Now these are great, excuse me, these are great fun if you cut them out of, you know, fun patterned paper, designer paper, lots of different ties and lots of different colours. A bit like I did with those rainbow dies. Okay, like so. Just blending that little bit. I could have used a lighter colour actually. That's why this looks quite different, isn't it? That'll be why. No, let's stick with it. Maybe I'll just use the light colour on this one. So I hope everybody is enjoying a good week. We're Wednesday, so we're nearly halfway through the working week for those that work Monday to Friday. There we go. That last little bit. I haven't taken my glasses off, so I'm struggling slightly. Okay, that will do nicely. This is going to be my outside legs. It's a little bit lighter. Okay, so I'm just going to die cut that. So I've got my little mini die cutting machine here. Let's just create a bit more space. And let's grab the die for that bow tie. Bing. One of the other things I did with the pocket was to create a banner. So I used it to create a banner. I might still have, I did it like a scrapbook page. I might still have that. If I do, I'll dig it out and show you. But it's, yeah, very versatile set. Excuse me. So I'm cutting out 2 of these just so that I can layer this up, and I also want to hide the little brad that's going to be in the middle. So that's my theory. Go. Let's move this down a bit. Voila. Okay, just once through is all we need to do with that. So I've got my 2 bow ties. And my plan then is to sandwich these together so that the brad is hidden underneath here, and pop a hole through here, and I need a little bit of height behind here. So what shall I put behind it? I think what I'm just going to do is just cut a little bit of card. Now, funnily enough, we do have a die that you can use for this centerpiece, but I'm not going to sit and cut that out. I just want to cut a narrow piece. That's going to sit behind, because I want this to be lifted off, because if it's too close it's just not going to spin. Okay, so let's just chop this up. So this is experimental, just warning you now. Okay, let's put a little line of glue. And then Another one on here. And also this would just give it a little bit of strength. I could just die cut, you know, a number of these and then put a dimensional or something behind, but just going to try this, and then I'm going to punch a hole right the way through. There we go. Okay, so I have some brads here, and these are mini ones. We have an assortment, round and square. Looks like this is all I've got left. So what I want to do is have that on there with the brad through it, and then I'm going to sandwich this on top, if that makes any sense. Now ideally I could do with finding my tiny little punch. Let's see if this will work. This is a very old Stampin' Up punch. Let's see if I can. Put a hole through it. There we go. There we go. There's my hole for my brad. Okay, and then that's going to go through onto there as well. And then what I'm going to do, I think, is put some dimensionals either side so this sits up slightly proud, rather than trying to sort of, I don't know, perhaps it does work like that. Okay. Now my punch won't reach to there, so I'm just going to use a paper piercer like this and pop a hole in there. And ideally a mat underneath to punch it into. Okay, am I going to do this by line of sight? Could do with my T-square, which is not here. So let's just use this. And this has got measurements on it as well, so I'm just positioning my markers either side. This is actually a quilting ruler, but it will do perfectly for my purpose. Okay, if you are punching holes in card, always try and use a piercing mat. If you try and do it in the air, it's very easy to bend your card, whereas if you keep it nice and flat, and then you can stab it like so. Okay, so before I put everything together, I'm just going to try this out. Let's fold these back. If you've got the old-fashioned paper fasteners, this would work, as long as the head isn't too big. Get it a bit looser, that's better. Go. Okay, I think I want a little bit more height behind this. So, I try some mini dimensionals, but leaving the backs on, just so it's got a little bit height away. I've rather strangled this piece here. Dear. Okay, Just try and straighten those up. Okay. Right, let's pop those in there. That's better. Open these out. Just want to loosen this a little bit. Okay, not mega spinny, but it will do the job. And then I'm going to pop this one on top. Hi Louise, hope you're well. So these black dimensionals, I wouldn't usually use black ones, but they come in a mixed pack of sizes. So if you do a lot of work with dark colours, you don't really want any white dimensional showing at the side, so you can use our black ones and solve that problem. Okay, there we go. That one's going to go on the top. It's still a little bit slow, isn't it? Trying to think what I did with the windmills, but I think it will work. I think it will work. Okay, so let us, I haven't put a sentiment on there. I could have moved those all up and put a sentiment on, and I have here somewhere, before we started, a note card envelope and a layer. Right, let me move these out of the way. Okay, I've got them very carefully ready. I can't find them, so let's just grab a new layer. I've got that same balmy blue, or I could use a red. Let's have a look for Poppy Parade. See which looks best. What do you think? Blue or red? Can't believe I can't find those layers. Dear, dear. Oh dear, oh look, there it is. Oh no, that's a different one, isn't it? What do you think, blue or the red for our layers under our card? Tempted to go for the red, I think. Okay, I've just found it. Let's grab the note card. And an envelope. So for anybody who's just joined us, we're using the Handsomely Suited stamp set and dies, which is this one here. And as it's bargain week, it's half price at £10. Red, yes, I think you're right, Kerry. So let's pop this on here. Find my bone folder. Let's cut a piece of the red. If you could see my the craft room. You might wonder why I'm struggling to find everything. Not. Okay, so this is going to be 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So you can get 5 layers for a note card out of one A4 sheet. So I cut the 4 1/2 first, and then I cut 2 lots of 3 1/4 and another one. So that gives you 3, and then this panel here, cut to 3 1/4, gives you another 2. So it's very economical. There we go, so you get 5 layers, and then you get a couple of pieces left over. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. That can go with my stash. And I'm just wondering whether to stamp something around the edge, or maybe a little bit of blending. Or I can just leave it plain and simple. I have got a You're the Best. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to pop this layer down and put this layer on with dimensionals, just so that it's not catching the brad at the back. So I'm just going to pop this one onto the card. How did I make this a 40-minute demonstration? To be fair, I didn't start until I'd shown you all the card samples, did I? So I'll just let myself off that one. Right, let's grab some dimensionals for that. The larger ones. Oh yes, I do. It is. Yes, I know the one you mean. You think I could put happy birthday either side, couldn't I? That would be clever. Good idea. Yes. Celebrate. Not celebrate with flowers, is it? Something like that. I have a feeling it might be retiring, because I can't see it on my shelf. But yes, that would have been a good plan. But it will do for our purposes, just to show you a little bit of fun. Okay, just pop these off. And what I do like to do, obviously, is stamp something on the inside. So this could be a Father's Day card, could be a birthday card. Just going to centralize that on there, but I put that on dimensionals, as I said, just so that it gives a little bit of space, so it's not flattening the thing. There we go. A little bit of fun is that, and then I'll just stamp on the envelope. Hello Dee. Let's just pop this in there. Nice bright red tie on the front. Put one on the back. And then I will put a message inside when I've decided which one I'm going to which I'm going to use it for. So that is the end of our crafting for today. Well, online it is. I've got plenty of crafting still left to do. So thank you for joining me. So this stamp set that we're using, Handsomely Suited, is £10, and the dies are 24. They were 30. They were 30. So and those are the dies. And if you joined us after the very beginning, then do pop back on replay and you can see lots of samples with the dies to give you some ideas, and also samples with the stamp set. So I'm just colouring this one in. I'll do the other one whilst I have my coffee. So there we go, a little bit of fun with our spinning bow tie. Hi Karen. Like so. Be quite fun to put a sort of circle a circle underneath there as well, wouldn't it? But anyway, there we go, our spinning tie, like so. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for your feedback and comments. Let's put the lid back on there. I will be back tomorrow, Thursday at 7 p.m. and I look forward to crafting with you again with some more bargains. I haven't decided on tomorrow's theme, so I'll have a look. I'll check out the products that are still on offer, and I'll get back to you and see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Sorry it was still longer than I intended, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. Thanks for sticking with me if you got this far, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Thanks a lot. If you want to order anything, just message me and I'll be delighted to help you with that. Thank you so much. Bye for now.